morning, Arif. Good morning. Welcome to the SNoWStrEAM, gentlemen. It is coming down. We've got our work cut out for us today. Good morning, Mr. Andrew and Nate. Thomas. Good morning, Thomas. Good morning, Ringo. Nautical Jim, the NCOs are filing in. Good morning, Atlas and Sean. It's always nice to wake up to a fresh coat of snow, isn't it? It's one of the pleasures of life. Good morning, Thomas. Well, it looks like we got about probably what, 4 or 5 inches on the ground right now, and it's coming down hard. Good morning, Faye. Good morning, Ringo. We got the heated seat on. We are very cozy. It's a chilly 21 degrees this morning. Probably coming up on 6 inches without missing it by too far. Nautical Jim is not living his best life. Rain and slush, that's always a little bit sad. Yeah, I would agree with you. You can be nearly 60 years old and still feel like a kid every time it snows. Yeah, boy, it came down. I was watching it last night. It started snowing last night when we went to bed. And I checked it this morning at about 3, and it was coming down hard, and it's snowing hard now. We have an East Coast man in the house. Greg says, oh, there goes a runner. East Coast man says that he's servicing his tractor. Yes, get ready for the storm, gentlemen. You always want to have your things in order. You don't want to, when you have an emergency, that's not the time you want to go fill up your chainsaw. So I learned that from the fire department. Have everything in working order and good to go. Good morning, Mr. Joe. Good to see you here. Glad to see you as a brand new member. Welcome, welcome. Normally we have a members only live stream, but we make exception when we have these beautiful snow days. We'll open it up to all the folks. Snow coming in Vermont. I know Vermont, of course, is officially a West Coast state. I think Vermont was the first one to get it. You've been grafted in. You're the wild branch that's been grafted in. Oh, that was a nice pass. Minus 14, where's that? Alberta, goodness. Or Canada. We like our Canadian friends. We hate to see them suffer under the Liberal government, but it seems that the winds of change are blowing. Nothing would be greater than to have you join as the 51st state and enjoy all the benefits thereof. We would be the ultimate power couple on the world stage, would we not? Minus 19 in Ontario. We got to change our chute. Clogs up our window. problem here. Oh, there we go. Yes, the SP mount on my moto, I had to get rid of that other one. I forget the name of the other one we had. It just was not Super Duty rated. The SP is the way to go. Good morning, Dr. Prepper. Yes, let it snow. We have that looks like about 6 inches on the ground right now. And a nice warm cab. The cat's running tip top, got a new battery in it. It's running like a clock. Yes, our driveway is paved. Why do I choose the blower? Because it's slower. And I get to, I enjoy running the skid steer because it's so compact and it's got a heated seat, and I can do this job twice as fast with the plow, but I enjoy the experience more. And it's freshly painted. Yes, exactly. Bobcat makes really nice equipment. I've never owned one. My neighbor just bought one, and just taking a look at it, looking at the implements, it seems like it's really nice stuff, high quality. Thumbs up for heated driveway. Yeah, well, we wouldn't get to have SNoWStrEAMs. I would not want that. Yeah, I would agree. The skid steer is the best piece of equipment that you can own. It's the most versatile. Of course, nothing's perfect, but if you want something that's a do-all, that'd be the first thing. I would give everything away before I would give this away. Actually, that's not true. Actually, the side-by-side is the most important piece, and the skid steer is number 2. No, I don't have the 940 in my pocket. Actually, how do I turn this here? Actually, I don't carry that very often anymore. I carry the, Jason sent me the Foxfire from, I always forget. It was made by Primitive Woodsman in, excuse me, I'm still under the weather. Made by Primitive Woodsman in North Carolina. And, you know, even, like, to get my knife out of my pocket is always a struggle when you're sitting. And this horizontal carry, even right here, it's just perfect. So I prefer that. That's what I carry now. Hello, Rejoice. Good morning. Got the old Rubicon trailered up. We're going to finally get rid of it. We're going to take it to the auction. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Oh, I've got the trucks on. There was so much snow on them, and I didn't want to, I just turned them on to melt the snow off so I could pull them out of the way. So they're defrosting right now. Good morning, Mr. Evan. Good to see you here. Good morning, Robert. Yeah, Ethan, I've seen your question a couple times. Let me address that now. I've been meaning to get to it. Ethan's talking about fire pumps. You've got 2 Echo water bug pumps. Those are little ones. Same engine as yours. I'm putting a kit together for them. What accessories do you have for the pump? So what you want, so what the U.S. Forest Service, they have a pump module, I think they call it. So when you go on a fire, so when you go to the cache, they will issue it to you. And what comes in that is, I would say probably about, you know, with that pump, it depends on how much elevation you have. If you have a bunch of elevation, I don't think it's going to lift a whole lot. and you lose a tremendous amount of pressure with friction loss on that 3/4 inch hose. So you're really kind of limited. So you'll have to experiment a little, because I'm not sure exactly what pump you have. What I would start with is I would get some single jacket forestry, what they call toy hose. It's the same size as a garden hose, but unlike a garden hose, it's made out of that canvas that you can roll up really small, flat, in a compact. It's compact and it's light. So I would probably get, you can buy that in 50s or 100s. I would recommend 50s. 100s are hard to deal with. So I'd get myself a couple 100 feet of that. You really have to see, what are you trying to do with it, right? Are you trying to fill up a skid unit? Are you trying to run a sprinkler with it? You know, what are you trying to do with it? And then determine it. But I'd start with a couple 100 feet of that, maybe 4 50s. I would, if you go online and search wildland forestry products, forestry suppliers, they'll have all this stuff. You can even just get it locally and get yourself some high quality sprinklers. You know, the, what do you call those? The sprinklers that we're all familiar with. Make sure that they're all metal, all brass, high quality, and you can either make your own or get yourself some bases. Bases that will sit on the ground, or a base, better yet, a base that will sit up on the roof pitch. Something that's a little bit heavy. And just kind of put those things together. That's really what you want. You know, you want the supply. So your supply, you can supply with those toy hoses. You can probably run one, maybe 2 sprinklers with those little water bugs. And then if it has the ability to pull a draft, you want a hard suction. So hard suction usually is about 12 feet, 12 to 15 feet, 10 sometimes. And that's nothing more than just a rigid garden hose, something that when you pull a vacuum on it, it's not going to collapse. So hard suction needs to be rigid, and then have a float for it. So if you're going to throw it in a spring or a pond or an irrigation ditch, you don't want it to lay down and suck up mud. You want it to be able to float. So you can have a Clorox bottle with a zip tie, whatever. Just have this all in place. Put it in a small duffel bag, and then just have that as a pump kit. And your gasoline, and you have an extra spark plug, 2-stroke engines, you know, they're notorious for fouling up, and just kind of put that kit together. I think I've covered all that on videos. Allie's asking, would you say that the downside of a tracked over wheeled skid steer is complexity, or what really? I have not found any downside with the tracked vehicle, unless you're talking about if you have to move it on road surfaces. Obviously, anything that's got wheels, you're going to be able, like the Yanmar, you'll be able to get that up to 30 miles an hour. You can road it from point A to point B, which may be important to you. Oh, shout out to you. Hold on, I'll get to the super chat. But if that's not the case, if you're just going to be working on your land, the rubber tracks are excellent. They don't wear out the undercarriage of the rollers near as bad, and the bowl gear, like the metal ones do. They're quiet. They have really incredible low ground pressure. You need to consider that too. Your rubber wheels have a lot of ground pressure, and if you're dealing in mud or soft turf, they really tear up the ground, where the tracks, if you are careful with them and you don't just spin circles, they have relatively low ground, extreme low ground pressure. Sometimes if you get icy roads, you're pushing like a plow, they won't hook up, you won't get traction. But you can run in, I run in the carbide cleats with your drill. So I not much of a downside. The only real downside is going to be if you have to cover a lot of ground. We have a super chat. Now any super chat that comes in is going to get the horn. I'm going to back that up here. Super chat from our friend Blake. Shout out to you, Blake. Thank you very much. Blake says, thank you for what you do. You're living the dream. You inspire all of us to leave the grind and get grounded again. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's being able to do what you want with your own time, and to not be a slave to a corporation or just on that treadmill. It's hard to put a price on that. It's always be thinking about what you can do to extricate yourself from that. You know, I had to do that too for a long time. I had to get here was hard work and consistency, but you just keep moving. You know, the thing that helps me sometimes, I, like you, every day I have to do things that I don't want to do, and some things are just painful and miserable, and you can start getting poopy pants. I've heard it said, stinking thinking, and oh, poor me, and I've got to do this. When I get in situations like that, especially when I have to do something that's very repetitious, that's really hard for me because I'm like a bird. I don't, I'm fluttering around all the time. And when I have to sit down and buckle down and do something repetitive, like, for example, what comes to mind is like when I'm building something where I have to do it over and over again, like floor joists. The repetitiveness of it just makes me sad and bums me out. And I just tell myself, just keep moving. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter that you're not happy. Just put your head down and just keep moving. You should just keep moving and keep working through the process. It's not going to last forever, and just get through it. And you can look at that on a micro level, like repetitive tasks, or you can look at that on a macro level, a job that you don't like. Just make sure if you have a plan, okay, my plan is to put 50 grand in the bank. My plan is to buy a piece of land. My plan is to get a skid steer. That's what gives you hope, that light at the end of the tunnel. All right, let us proceed. Welcome, Kevin, from our friends over in Rhode Island. Yes. Rejoice evermore. I mean, that really sums it up right there. He's bringing the scriptures to us. Whatever thy hand findeth to do, do it with all your might. This is the wisdom of King Solomon, gentlemen. So many of us, so many men have not had the ability to have that wisdom passed on from the elders. It should have been passed on by your grandfather and your father. And that may not have been the case for you. You find yourself 30, 40 and asking, how come I don't know all these things? How come I didn't have this? One of the great helps is the words, the teachings of King Solomon. There you have it right there. I'll read it. Rejoice says, whatever thy hand finds to do, do it with all thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest. Yeah, or also King Solomon goes on to say, I would rather be a living dog than a dead lion. Do things now. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. Just like in today's video, yesterday, my low effort content. Take care of your stuff. Everything that you touch. And you don't have to have a lot, but take care of it. I'd ask you this. This is what I always say. If you had a son and you gave him a brand new car or a new truck or a used truck, and you find out he's not taking care of it, he's burning up the engine because he won't change the oil, how's that make you feel? What do you think? How do you think the Almighty feels when he blesses us with things and we don't look after them? So it's very important. Take care of the things that you have, what you've been given. This is a test to you from the Almighty, and when you prove to be faithful in the little things, that's when he'll reward you with greater things. But you have to show faithfulness in the little things. We have a super chat. I'm going to touch it up. Oh. Shout out to you from Cadillac Blunt. Very generous of you. Cadillac writes, thank you for the dentist video you did. I was deathly afraid of the dentist and I broke a tooth with bad pain days before. Boy, I can relate to that. Man, I was the chief of sinners when it comes to that. I finally made the appointment to go and get the work done. Yeah, I was the same way. I understand. I put it off for over 20 years. Mrs. W would say, oh, you want me to make you a dental appointment? And I just would push it off because I knew. There's another thing that I don't like about American dentists is they shame you, right? You go in there and then they shame you for, oh, you don't floss enough, and talk to you like you're a child, which is not something that I really enjoy, to be honest with you. It was nice to not have that experience when I went down to Mexico, but good on you. It's really important. It's always the case. You always say, well, I wish I wouldn't have put this off. You're going to have to do it, and you might as well do it before it causes you a real problem or a health problem. So, but I've got no grounds to be lecturing anyone. I was the worst. We have a super chat. Shout out to Ridge Runner Blades, our friend Mr. Jason. Just shipped out a super special blade to you via UPS overnight. Keep an eye out. It might be a little much for Okay, I will. And when that comes up, Jason, I will. I'm looking forward to it. You always send the coolest things, and we'll be doing an unboxing, and we'll cover all the stuff that I haven't covered. But thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. All right, gentlemen, let us proceed. Looks like the snow is starting to lighten up a little bit. We're gonna have a pretty day. Yeah, maybe Jason's box will be here today. That'd be exciting. The little book that we used to read was, I forget, what was it called? Boy, it's cold outside. The window's freezing up. It'll be there tomorrow. Okay, well, we will, as soon as it arrives, we'll stop everything, and we're going to do that unboxing. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Do I get angry? No. No, Manly Manners, thank you. That's the name of the little book. No one drives on it before I plow it. I'm usually up pretty early. It doesn't make any difference. Or it doesn't make that much difference. It does make a difference. Ben's asking, what would be my top trades? What would be the top choice for trades if you were just starting a career again? Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. Like, let's say if I was 18 out of school, what would I do? I would have bought Bitcoin and Apple stock. I would say, knowing what I know now, I would have gone in and really pursued wildland firefighting. I would have started on a Type 2 crew and then got on a hot shot crew and then became a smoke jumper and done that in my 20s just to have the thrill and the fun and to make those acquaintances. And in my off time in the summertime, I would have went to community college and got my electrician certificate for commercial or for residential. I would have got my journeyman commercial license so that I could, in the off season, I could do side jobs, make a little extra money, and then that's what I would do. That's what, if I had to do it over again. Or I might get a law degree. As well. Maybe do fire for the summertime, and I would either do law. Yeah, I probably would instead of that. I guess it would depend on. It's hard to say. Do I know what I know now, or am I just starting over from scratch? I would like to have a law degree because it really teaches you how to think and handle problems. It's a very important skill to have in the society that we live in that's so litigious. There's so many contracts, and just seeing, I don't know, probably both those two things. I would not be a dentist. I would not get into the medical field. I don't like that work. I did that as a medic with the fire department, and I don't like it. Plus, you have to be around too many nurses. Home wreckers, they are. Yeah, I take risks. I took a lot of risks. I don't have that regret. I skydived and big wall rock climbing, and I experienced life. Jordan knows what I'm talking about. Yes. Have I? No, oh yeah, I've met a lot of Russians. I had many. I'm very familiar with Russians. When I was doing my Jeep parts business, I was in the used car arena, and I shared a commercial building with my Russian friends. Vasily was a good friend of mine, and I had another good friend growing up that was Peter, that was Ukrainian. So I'm very, very familiar. I've been in their homes, I've ate their food, I've worked with them. I like the Russian people. They're very sentimental, they're very fun people, but they're very lawless. I think being under communism for so long, where you had to always cheat the system or find some angle to get by the black market, whatever, that they don't, that they're not trustworthy. They're shady. Not all. And they're always scamming and doing things kind of half-assed. When I saw how they would put cars together, how they would do repairs, and how they would sell stuff and mislead people, never ever would I buy a car from a Russian. And I don't know that they're necessarily bad people, but they're just a product of their environment. And then there's the other side, the far extreme, like the old believers, the extreme, the orthodox, the religious. They're kind of on the opposite spectrum. They're pretty tight-knit. I was never really allowed to get close in with that community, but I'm somewhat familiar with them. But I would say, as a rule, it's like having a rabid dog, or a dangerous animal as a pet. As long as you understand that it's not to be trusted, you all can get along just fine. But I would say my general opinion of Russians, after spending so much time with them, is I like them. They're fun to go out and to drink with. They're very sentimental people. Their food I don't care for, but I would never trust one. Never trust one. But it doesn't mean I don't like them. They have a can-do attitude, which I really like. They don't worry about safety regulations. There's no safety sallies in the Russians, and I have to admire that for sure. Hello from Britain. How do I to get that comment there? How do you think Trump is doing? We need a British Trump. Yeah, you do. As I always say, you can't spell the UK without cuck, or you can't spell cuck without the UK. You guys are pathetic. It's so shameful how ballless and castrated or neutered, whatever you want to say, you guys have been. I don't know what happened to you after the war. You guys, I know your history. I'm an amateur historian, and my favorite topic is British history. I was always a bit an Anglophile, so I know what you're capable of. And I don't think, to be honest with you, an army has ever fielded a braver and more courageous soldier than the British Army. What's become of you, and how you stand by and allow your women to be abused, allow your government to abuse you, and always standing in line and apologizing. It's pathetic. We look at you in America as our English brothers. We want to support you and we want you to do well. We're disgusted by you. We're ashamed of you that you don't stand up and do something about it. I don't know that you have the will anymore. I'm surprised too, with your pedigree and the background you have and the savageness of your soldiers, how they used to be. I'm really surprised that you've rolled over and shown your belly like you have. It's sad. I don't want it to be that way. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but sometimes you got to call it for what it is. It's pretty pathetic. You certainly don't have West Coast status. And your food is awful. Do something about that too. And fix your teeth. Mr. Evan, shout out to you. Evan says, I'm a young volunteer at my local fire department, and I'm considering getting my EMR. I'm still debating it, but I think it could benefit from If you want to be a government employee, so here's my background. I volunteered for many years. The first time I volunteered when I was 18 with my local department in just outside of Portland, the suburbs where I grew up. And it was cool back then. Back then, you still rode on the tailboards of the engine. There was actually a beer keg at the fire station. The guys that come back from a call, it was very social. There were no women in there. It was quite enjoyable. Not a lot of rules and regulations. It was kind of the Wild West. It was really fun. Fast forward to now, I would not recommend getting into the emergency services. It's a lot of regulations. You're going to have to sit night after night through painful PowerPoints. You're going to have to be around people that are, there's a lot of, how do I put it? There's just a lot of egos. There's a lot of gatekeeping. There's just a lot of low quality people mixed in with high quality people. You have self-serving, the problem, I don't know. I understand it. I was the same way. I have that in me, that ability, that desire to serve, to want to be involved in the military, be involved with firefighting, volunteering, doing this, the emergency services. I get that. I'm cut out of that same cloth. The problem is, you get into it and you realize that the majority of people that are in it don't share that desire and that passion that you do. They're simply there for the status, or because they look cool in the uniform and they want to brag about it, or it's a stepping stone to something else, or they're just in it for the money. It's very demoralizing. When you want to go there and you want to work with good men and you want to, many of us would do that stuff for free. And then you get involved with the type of people that are in it, and you have to deal with cops. It's very disconcerting. I'm really jaded on it. I worked as a volunteer for many different departments. I worked as a paid career firefighter on the structure side, as well as wildland. Wildland, I would make the exception because there are some really good people in that. But you're not going to make any money. It's I don't know. I wouldn't look at it as a long-time career, but I'm also an entrepreneurial person. I'm not the type of person that's going to go and clock in and take a paycheck. I never have been. So take that for what it's worth as well. So not all of us are cut out of the same cloth. If you're a guy that wants to go work for the government and have that security and a pension and health care, and that's the only thing that matters to you over having your own autonomy and doing your own thing, then maybe that works for you. But for me, I was in hell. Let us proceed. Good morning, Forrest. I do demand participation in the chat, gentlemen. If you don't chat and interact with me, then I'm not going to live stream. It's not a threat, it's a promise. Yeah, Erickson, I wanted to read that. So Erickson says, as a state plow operator, I can honestly say, you're better off starting your own business. Honestly, I hate my job. It's glorified slavery. Yeah, it is. Any of that government work, the wage work, I worked with those guys, and you know what? I'll tell you, they're going nowhere. And this is no slight on you, Erickson, but I mean, I'm telling you the truth. You're going to go nowhere. Look at the dudes that are 50, 60, 100 pounds overweight, the equipment operators for the state, or driving snowplow, or ambulances, whatever. They've got no money. They're barely getting by, paycheck to paycheck. They're fat. They're miserable. They're working around grumpy, miserable people. It's terrible. It's terrible. I do not recommend it. I mean, bless the guys that do it. I mean, we need snowplows and such, but that ain't for me. And to be a young person with your whole life in front of you, to saddle yourself down to that drudgery and that wage slavery is, man, that ain't it. That ain't it. Yeah, air attack is cool. M1 grandson's asking you, how much should a man making 100K spend on an engagement ring? You should spend nothing on an engagement ring. I did it. I spent a tremendous amount on an engagement ring, and it meant a lot to Mrs. W. She's not materialistic, though. That was a surprise to her. She would have been content with the band. That's foolishness. It's and you gotta get serious. You gotta stop with all of the romance BS, with all the Disney princess fairy tale nonsense. This is something that's been manufactured in the last 50, 70 years. A marriage is a partnership and a relationship, and two people coming together to get synergy, to accomplish and to come ahead in life. And to go dump 15, 20 grand on an engagement ring when you don't have a pot to piss in, you don't have a home, you don't have anything, is the height of, it's ludicrous. If your woman is so caught up on that you can't sit down with her in your engagement time and have the hard conversation, look baby, I would like to do this. It's not that I'm a deadbeat, it's not that I'm cheap, but we gotta be serious. Times are hard right now. Things are expensive, and it's a competitive world out there. And if you're willing to get in harness and pull with me to win in this life and to build a fortune and to build a family, we can't start out by throwing money away when we don't have anything on a frivolous bauble like that. I mean, get down and put that money into something that's going to work for you. Start a business, put it down on land. Then when you built your fortune and you can breathe a little bit when you're in your 40s or your early 50s, then go and buy her whatever ring she wants. You'll be able to go and throw down cash and buy her whatever she wants. But that's the height of foolishness. You need to stop. That needs to stop. I did it. I didn't know better. I was a blue-pilled simp back then. I didn't understand. But no, I don't think that's a good idea at all. I would not recommend that. And if she won't accept that, then you need to kick her to the curb. If she's so hung up on her Disney princess wedding day and can't see the big picture, then she's not an asset to you. She needs to go. You can learn to love anyone. Good morning, Blue Ridge Marine. Good to see you here. Yeah, and 100K, I'll tell you, that's absolutely true. 100K, that sounds like a lot. Maybe if you're 18 or 19, you've never had anything. But that is barely getting by. If you're talking about living in a city and buying a home and being able to have your woman stay home and raise your children, that is barely getting by. That's minimum wage. I'm not sure what you're asking, Thomas. All my old content is shared. It's all on my channel. No one wants old content. It is currently 22 degrees. Yeah, get out of the UK. We got a truck coming here. Joe says my brother wants to move from the UK to America. What are your thoughts? Get out of the UK. The UK has no future. It is. It's a dying. It's already dead. It's just a carcass that's being plucked. I'll tell you, if I was a young man, if I was a UK guy, I would move heaven and earth, whatever it took, to get myself out of there and get to America. Yeah, it would be like the intensity of the gazelle escaping the cheetah or the leopard. That's the level of intensity that you need to have to get out of that hellhole and get to the States. Mr. Ben LePage, good to see you here. 86 in Australia, the land down under. You got your own problems over there too, Ben, as you know. You're not too far behind the UK. And we love our Australian brothers. Let's not forget that. Plumbing is a good trade to be in right now. Plumbers, if you had a small plumbing business, you could actually let's go over and move those. Let's go move those trucks. Looks like they're thawed out, and we can plow out the driveway there. Yeah, you know Ben. Ben's in his own private hell in Australia right now. Goodness, I don't know what happened to the proud Australians as well. Same thing goes for the Australians that I said about our English brothers. No snow in Nebraska. Oh, that's strange. Passport Pro, maybe. I don't know that it matters anymore, to be honest with you. So for a time there was a window. Western women, so many of them, because of feminism and the online dating, have become not suitable for marriage. And so a lot of dudes started, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I guess, realizing that and going Southeast Asia and South America to try to find traditional women. And and that worked for a while, but now that online dating and the internet is spread across the whole world, then it's all been infected. So it's I don't know. There's a lot of I follow this whole thing pretty close, and what I'm seeing from guys that are doing it, it's like it's over there too. So I don't know what to tell you, man. Just focus on getting your money right. Focus on building yourself a career or a trade that's going to have great value that you can bank upon. And remember, you may say, well, I don't want to be a plumber. Well, it doesn't, so what? Go get your plumbing certificate. You'll always be marketable. You'll have a skill that you can always fall back on, electrician, whatever. And then you can do what you want. But I'll tell you, if you're in soldier mode as a young man, you've got a good trade, you're pulling in 150, 200K a year. Now you're not going to be taxed on overtime. So if you want to put the work in and put in 100 hours a week and stack cash, you could be retired at 40 with a couple $1 million in the bank and paid for land and truck. Then go and see about finding someone to start a family with. That's the advice that I would give you. All right, I'm going to move these trucks real quick, and I will be back shortly. Get old, I'll slip off this and break my hip. harder to get in this thing with the camera mount than crawling over a barbed wire fence. All right, gentlemen, let us proceed. Plumbing, electrical, HVAC, all those are the top 3 trades. I would throw in being a lineman is a cool job if you're a young man. Good money. Whoa, the chute's about frozen. It's so cold. No, I haven't tried Vivo barefoot shoes. I pretty much wear barefoot shoes all the time, but I'm a big fan. The ones I'm wearing right now, I'm a big fan of the Alaskan, made by Magic Shoes, I think, or Magic Feet. My snowplow frees up. Why is that not going? Oh, we might be moving to the Yanmar. I don't know these brands. I've never heard of them. There we go. All right, so I turned off the blower and it about froze up because it's so cold, so we're gonna have to leave it running. All right, we're back. I think. Yeah, that's looking good. See here in a minute. Yeah, we're good. No, the vibration is not, it's not that intense enough to mess up the phone. Now it does definitely will wreck a phone on a motorcycle. It's actually pretty smooth in here. Yeah, mink oil is good. Mink oil and open offs would be my top 2 picks. I haven't done any snow bike footage because I haven't rode this year. I haven't felt physically strong enough. I'm still recovering from my motorcycle crash last fall. That put a lot of damage on me. Is the cat warm in the shop? Yeah, Mama Kitty, I started her fire this morning. And she is curled up by the fire on her. Oh, I just got a hold of my garden hose, of course. Why is that still here? It's supposed to be picked up. I don't think we chewed it up though. I'm not sure what land you're talking about. Yep, Mom is chilling by the fire. Kit Kat's becoming a house cat, so she's probably curled up by the fire in the big house. Hello, Benjamin. It's good to see you here, all the way from beautiful Indonesia. M1G says he's going to be handed down a family home that his grandfather built. How do I bring it up? How do I bring up the prenup to my fiance without sounding heartless? I only want to protect our future. That's a very good question, and that's something you need to do. Here's what I would do. I mean, you may not get the results you want, but if it were me, this is what the prenup would be. Anything that I have coming into this relationship that is mine will stay mine, and that will include my family home. Anything you come into this relationship with will stay with you. Now, everything that we accomplish after the marriage is 50-50. If we build a business, if we buy properties, that will be a 50-50 split, but that's the way I would look at it. And if she's unwilling to do that, well, I mean, I don't know how you could get a bigger red flag than that, to be honest with you, because that's reasonable and it's fair. And if she wouldn't do that, then as hard as this may be, then you have your answer, and it's don't do it. Over 50% of marriages end in divorce. Would you go out into the world if there was a 50-50 chance of you getting in a major car wreck or a major injury? You know, because that's what it is. A divorce, a separation is like, it's not just a breaking up of a friendship. It is, there's more to it. If you have kids involved with it, it's going to be the worst thing that's ever happened to you. So you have to be smart about it and be practical. Let us proceed. To be honest with you, I wouldn't get the state involved at all. I would write up a contract between get an attorney and with the conditions that I just laid out. It would be a legal contract so that she's protected. And I would have a private ceremony that did not involve the state. Why bring the state into your relationship? Makes no sense. I don't think that she should not have something. You know, she's putting her own welfare at risk. She's gonna forego her ability to start a career and get an education, to raise kids and to look after you, and she deserves to be looked after. But to come into a relationship and then 1, 2, 3 years down the road, tear it all up and take half of what you own, that's not reasonable. No thinking person would enter into a contract like that. I'm glad to hear that. Evan's got his first JK boots. The JK boots, in all honesty, I think the JK boots, as far as like appearance, the way they look, are my least favorite. They don't resonate with me that way as much as like the whites do. But when it comes to lightweight, comfortable, no break-in, they're without equal, in my experience. But I still wear the whites because I like the way they look so much. You could do it. Never say never. You do what you have to do. If you lived and logged in the Pacific Northwest and worked in the mountains, or you were a wildland firefighter, I guarantee you would change your tune. What's my opinion of Germany and Western Europe? Do you think the election this month will change anything? I don't really care about Western Europe and Germany. I've not found their people to be particularly fun or friendly or kind. I mean, I definitely appreciate the German work ethic, and there's a lot of things I like about the culture. But do I want to have a German as a friend? No. Give me a British. Give me Australian, New Zealand. Give me Indians. Some of the coolest people I've met have been Indians. But I don't care for Germans. I find them to be quite miserable and disagreeable, and it's like hanging out with an engineer, a rude engineer. Nope, I don't have a buyer for my van yet, but as soon as I'm going to take the Jeep to the auction, I'm going to focus my attention on that next. I think it'll go quickly. It's priced to sell. My feet are getting cold. I gotta get some heat in here. Oh, I like the Irish. You know, to be honest, I have not had much experience with the Irish. But I would say that they're cool, but I haven't really known any. I don't care for Conor McGregor. That guy is an ass. Hopefully they're not like him. Yeah, Frank's Boots. Frank's Boots is a good boot. I've met Frank. Frank used to be kind of run the shop for Nick's before they sold to a bigger company. But I think Frank's still operating in the old Nick's building. But I've heard good things. He's a really good guy. He gets it. I enjoyed meeting him. How's the audio, gentlemen? Give me on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the quality? I'm trying to, I got a very noisy machine, and I'm trying to isolate it the best I can so that it's as good as it can be. Well, that's good. I think I'm getting it dialed down to get the SNoWStrEAM the best quality I can. All right, we're getting good feedback for the audio, so that makes me happy. I have a microphone that really isolates to a small bubble when I've got it close to me. That's not true that every Irishman loves Conor. I've seen quite a few that do not. You want a womanizing drunk? I guess that could be your idol. Chosen Tech has got a comment here. I want to take this. I recently got 30 acres in Colorado, and I need something to clear the driveway that's a quarter-mile long. What should I get? Skid steer is out of the budget for me. You know, probably I think what most guys start with is to get a plow on a truck. And if it's flat, you know, Colorado, what's your elevation? I guess I need to know. If you're pretty high, the snow in Colorado is really cold and dry and light. So you don't have the wet concrete like we have out here. 6,700 feet, yeah. So where you want to start with is a snow plow for a truck. You can get a Western plow. You can get something used. They'll all buy it in the summertime. Better yet, what most guys do around here is they'll go, and a lot of farmers and ranchers will have a dedicated truck. The wrong button there. For their snowplow, just some old beater that they leave chained up all the time. That's the best way to go because you get everything is all ready to go. So find something like that, or find a used plow, get it mounted up on a truck. If you have to, I think the first piece of equipment I would buy, especially for 30 acres, would be a small side-by-side, a UTV of some sort, a Gator or a Honda Pioneer. You can get a plow for that. It's not going to be super powerful, but if you chain it up, put a little weight in the back, and you stay on top of it, don't let the snow get away from you, and when you know, don't let it get over 6 inches and keep up on it, you can do it that way. A rubber tire backhoe, you can buy that. If you can find an old one, it's really good for plowing snow as well, but that's what I would look at. That's a good question. Let us proceed. A snowplow on a UTV is not ideal. So just be careful. Hold on. Adam says, I want to take this. Adam says, we just bought an acre on the hillside in Flagstaff, Arizona with 43-degree slope. That's super steep. We didn't put a driveway yet, but how on earth am I going to plow something that steep? You're going to plow it downhill. Hopefully, you've got a place where you can roll it off to the side, but that's not a problem. I mean, if you're at the bottom and you got to go up, you have to stay on top of it. But I'll tell you that, there isn't hardly any snow that falls that a four-wheel drive, whatever, truck that's all chained up isn't able to handle. So, but if you just be careful, don't make your driveway too steep. You're gonna have to figure it out. Either that or you're gonna have to park down below and walk. That's what a lot of people do. Sometimes it's just easier to buy an old, worn out snowmobile to shuttle back and forth. Salting is an option. The cabin's coming well, good. We can actually go over there. We need to plow that out. I'm gonna make one more pass. We'll go over there in a little bit and get that sorted out. Cabin's good. So it's all done except for I've got some trim to do on the outside, but I'll wait till spring for that. Mr. Peter's living over there now. We're caretaking, I guess. It is a sweet cabin. The maximum depth for blowing snow all depends on the consistency of it, how wet it is, how heavy it is. But I've plowed 3 feet before if it's dry and fluffy, and I've had where 4 inches was too much if it was wet. That's actually a very good option that Mike brought up that I completely forgot about. Sometimes I lose perspective now that I have the money and equipment to do whatever I want to do, and it wasn't always the case. And when I think back on it, when we were at our last place, when it took everything that Mrs. W and I had to get into that homestead, we didn't have any money, not even for a side-by-side. And my parents bought us an old worn out Polaris quad, which was a great help to me. And and we had a ton of snow that we had to deal with. Fortunately, we didn't have a long driveway, and the first thing that when we finally had enough money to buy something for snow removal, we bought a walk-behind snowblower. Yeah, that's a great option. What I'd recommend, I unfortunately bought the big John Deere that's got the big tractor tires on it, and it was fine. I still have it. But now, what I see locally around here, now we live in a place that I think we get more snow here than any place in the state, so we know about snow removal. What I see people have here, if they don't have a long driveway, is the Honda snow blowers. Honda actually makes a factory snow blower that has a 2-wheel drive. It's a rubber track. Those things are super, super skookum. That's exactly what I would get. If I had a short driveway and was just getting started, didn't have the money to invest in a Western plow, I would look for one of those. Buy new if you can. They're money in the bank. They will hardly ever depreciate if you take care of them. But find something used in the summertime on Facebook Marketplace, and that's an excellent idea. I would highly, highly recommend that. Let us proceed. We have a lot of snow coming down right now. I don't know if it shows on the video, but it's pretty heavy. Yeah, Jacob, you said it, that Honda snowblower, everything about that snowblower is all factory Honda, and it is super skookum. Every time I see one, I covet them. I wish I had one. Japanese denim is swaggy? Well, yes and no. It's been adopted by the metrosexuals, which are soft-handed men on the East Coast. But that doesn't mean that it's swaggy, just because they wear it. It's really not that so in Japan. It's just extremely high quality. It's the snap-on of clothing, built to last. High fashion is often poor quality, and it just to bamboozle fools. Japanese denim is built to last and to be the highest quality it can be. So it's a little bit of it. You're a little bit right, but a little bit wrong. Good morning, Mr. Skillhead. Yeah, if we don't have snow tomorrow, we'll be back on our Bible study tomorrow morning. But it's coming down hard right now, so I wanted to jump on it before it got away from us. What's the best mattress? In my opinion, Mrs. W and I, we buy Swedish-made Tempur-Pedics. I think it's the best mattress. Don't go for the off-brand either. We tried to. We couldn't always afford one, so we went with the copies. The copies are not to be compared with the genuine. Get yourself a real Tempur-Pedic. It'll change your life. A budget axe? I would go with the Cold Steel Trail Boss. It's one of my favorite axes. The two Jeeps, Mr. Jiraiya, my manservant, he has a Cherokee, a JK, and the TJ, the Rubicon that I have, is one that I rebuilt way back in the day. It's only got 30,000 miles on it. It's a Rubicon 4.0, completely loaded. Dana 44s, lockers, 241 transfer case, the factory sound system, sound bars, soft top, hard doors, full factory nav, sat nav. It's completely, every single option. 30,000 miles. I'm selling it at the auction this week. Good morning, Mr. David. Good to see you here. Jack is doing well. We saw him 2 nights ago. He had a birthday, and so we took him and his best friend Jaden out to a nice steak dinner. So we had a really, really nice time. We went shopping, went to Self Edge, which is my favorite Japanese denim store in Portland, and then had a nice dinner at Ruth Chris. But he's doing well. He started a small business, a pressure washing business, so he's going out and getting jobs washing decks and patios and driveways to help pay for his college, so we're proud of him for that. Yeah, the Tempur-Pedic is the mattress, gentlemen. Yes, it is. As East Coast Man was so fond of pointing out, that I'm actually running an East Coast made battery in my Caterpillar, and well, I don't have a leg to stand on. I have to say that everything started up. When I bought it, it wasn't fully charged, but I left the tender on it last night, and I came in and it was fully charged, and it started right up. So all is well. No problems with my information center here. It's nice to not have any trouble lights going off on a piece of equipment. Thoughts on Dakotas? It's cold and windy. I know that. Very cold and windy. But I have to say there's good folks from Dakotas. I wouldn't want to live there. But that's also because I'm a soft West Coast dandy, and I like the finer things, you know how we are. We like our lattes and our sunshine, our good food, our organic. You know how it is. Good morning, Cole. Yes. Skookum is actually a Pacific Northwest word. It's an Indian word. Just got a brand new JD 2024 25R with a blower. And no snow in Anchorage. Oh, he's suffering. Yes. And we also like Pacific Northwest, man. He likes to have the 4 seasons. That's very important. I do have a Stormy Cromer. A Stormy Cromer. Yeah, shout out to the Stormy Cromer. That's a fine hat. That reminds me, I put it away. I usually bring it out for winter. I wish I had it right now. A Stormy Cromer is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's quintessential. Let me turn the wipers off here. Come on now. It's quintessential Midwest man. It was invented by, what was it? It was before the snapbacks. I think it was invented by a baseball player. That's when I think baseball hats were like one size. He's trying to keep his hat on, so he had his wife sew some flaps on it. It's kind of a ridiculous looking thing. It's delightfully charming though. I mean, it's quintessential Midwest man. And one of my Midwest subscribers sent me one that's made out of wax cotton that's insulated. And it is one of the finest, warmest hats I've ever had. And I wear it proudly. That reminds me, I'm gonna have to find where I put that. I put it away for winter, and I forgot to bring it out. I'm gonna get that, but I'm all about the Stormy Cromer. They've been making them. Yes, mine's wool lined too. It's excellent. I gave one to Jack as well. He likes his. Stormy Cromer is a great hat. One of the best. No, I'm not going to buy a Chinese excavator. I'm not interested in that. The only excavator I would buy, goodness, shout out to our brother Stillhead. We have a super chat. Thank you for that. Very generous of you. Thank you for the 30-day warband patch. Our community in the Big Fizz is full of brilliant and strong-minded men. Long live to TBF. Yes, and if you haven't received your 30-day patch yet, yours will be coming in the final order. So just be patient. They're coming. Thank you, Stillhead. That's an official unit patch. I had to go to great trouble to find those. That's why they took so long. Oh, I'm pumping dirt here. I got to get the trim just right. And if I'm not getting your questions in the chat, you have to just keep spamming them. They, you know, once they go by, I can't see them anymore. The Cromer is a fine hat. What's going on here? Feeling a vibration. Sometimes you got to give it a shake to clean out the chute. Oh, the Pacific Northwest man is all about skiing. I started skiing when I was 6. I started snowboarding in 1987. I ski and snowboard regularly. We have season passes at the mountain. I'm teaching Sweet Loaf. I used to ski patrol in Colorado. I'm an expert skier and snowboarder. We're gonna have to check on the tin. Actually, I instructed manservant when he comes in this morning to go down and to sweep the snow off of it. All right, let's clean up here. No, Aaron, I have not heard of Ship Jordan in Portland. I've never heard of it. Yeah, I almost pumped a bunch of snow into the garage there. It's still snowing hard. I've not heard of roundhouse jeans either. I did have on my lower teeth, I did have a little bit of receding gums, and my dentist told me that he thought it was probably from grinding my teeth at night. So he made me what they call a night guard, and he recommended I wear that, and I've been wearing that at night, and that's been very helpful. But no, my gums and teeth weren't near as bad as I thought they were going to be. Yes, we'll be running battery tenders on the machines. I usually do. Oh, I just referred to Mr. Jiraiya as manservant because just to troll people, because it makes people so mad. It makes stupid people mad. The 7.3 Ford. Well, I've got the 7.3, the Godzilla, and it's probably one of the best engines Ford's ever produced. It's very excellent. Lots of power, lots of torque. I really like it. Actually, Ford's coming out with a high-performance crate engine from the 7.3 that's going to have over 1,000 horsepower with a Whipple supercharger on it. and a 2-year warranty. It's a beast. Forged pistons, forged crank, like all sorts of cool Ford racing stuff. They'll even offer an ECU that you can drop in. In my weaker moment, I did consider buying one and dropping it into my truck. 1,000 horsepower. No studs on the track. They're not. I ran them one winter, and I found them not be necessary. But that's a great engine. So much better than the diesel is not an option as long as we have to have all of the emission nonsense, the Tier 4 nonsense, all of that blue fluid. No way, that'd be insane to do that. But with the new head of EPA that President Trump has installed, there's actually serious talk of doing away with all that nonsense. So I would take a look at diesels again if they would get rid of all that and open them up. Do you know that the government trucks that the U.S. government buys are all deleted from the factory? They don't have to have all that stuff on it. But you and me, we have to put up with all that BS nonsense. A non-electric sharpener. Oh, I don't know. They're all good. Any one of those is fine. There's so many of them now, I don't even know what to say. Sharpening stone. Yeah, you really should. A couple things you should do. You should learn to shoot with iron sights and a bolt action rifle before you get all of the fancy optics and a semi-automatic. Learn the fundamentals. Learn how to sharpen with the stone. I would agree with that. It's not hard. It just takes time. Spent so much time sharpening, and I've gotten so good at it now. I feel like I can pretty much sharpen a tool with about anything. I can actually do pretty good sharpening on a glass window from my truck if it's not too far gone. Once we get this driveway clear, we'll go over and plow out the cabin. Looks like, I think Mr. Peter's home today. It's snowing hard. Yep, the NOCOs are good. I used my little NOCO Genius 1 battery tender last. Oh man, come on now, getting in the dirt. NOCO Genius 1 to top off the battery in the skid steer last night. Look at those stones. I know, it's deplorable. Gotta get the trim right. Best first car? Probably a little Toyota pickup, 2-wheel drive, like a Tacoma, something 89 or newer, mid-2000s, with the 4-cylinder in it. If you can swing a 4x4, that's even better. But so versatile, you can run a small business out of it, good on gas, easy to work on, cheap parts, reliable, cheap tires. That's what I'd get. Ford Ranger, yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Toyota would be better. Yeah, landscaping stream. That's so true. I'm gonna try not to pump so much. Try not to blow my grass and topsoil here on this next path. Any small truck is going to be terrible on ice because they don't have any weight in the back. If you put good tires on, put a set of Huckapolitas on, and 500 pounds of sandbags in the back, you'll have a good. It'll be just fine. Don't let your pride, when you're a young man and you're building, don't let your pride get in your way. People are gonna, you're gonna have peers that are gonna buy fancy cars to impress women and waste the first 2 decades of their life on wine, women, and song, and always be in poverty afterwards. Where if you can put your pride aside for a few years, drive a hoopty, stack your cash, build wealth, build business, then you'll be able to go like I did and plump down cash for a brand new truck. Delayed gratitude. Of course, it's ill-advised to date long-term. Don't waste your time, or long distance. Don't waste your time. Never works out. You'll get cheated on, you'll get your heart broke, you'll be disappointed, you'll waste a lot of your time and effort and resources. Got the trim right now. I don't think we're pumping grass anymore. Goodness, shout out to Hanky Mountain Garage. We have a super chat. Hanky Mountain, good to see you here. Do I ever watch Cletus McFarland's racing channel? I've never heard of it. No. Also, going to a Durango, Colorado and Moab on vacation Memorial Day week. No off-roading, just in the car. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time down there. I lived in Colorado, so on our weekends we would go down there to Moab, and I've spent a lot of time down there. I like to ride, do the rock trails, mountain bike down there. Really like to take the motos down. I think riding the motorcycles, the dirt bikes on the Slick Rock Trail and the Poison Spider and Fins and things, some of those iconic routes are the best. You know, you can rent a Jeep on a side-by-side down there. It's not super expensive, and go on your own just for half a day or whatever. It's worth it. It's awesome. Go pick one of the easier ones, like Fins and Things would be the one I would recommend. It's amazing. Very dramatic. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. No, I would never buy anything other than a Ford. I wouldn't buy anything newer currently. I wouldn't buy anything newer than like a 2020. I wouldn't buy anything that was built after COVID. Now, it's not to say that they won't get their act together, but the trucks, all the trucks currently right now, Mopar, GM, and Ford are garbage. Go look at the recalls, go watch the videos, go look at the problems. None of them is without sin. The only new truck I would buy would be a Toyota. And they've got their own problems of late, but at least they're taking care of them. They're giving brand new complete engines, not long blocks, but complete engines to all the guys on the Tundras. The problem that they had with the engines, the Toyota, the last 2 years, has been machining debris, little pieces of metal that didn't get cleaned out, and it got in the engine and nuked the engines. But it seems that Toyota has done the right thing and is replacing them, from how far as I understand. But that's the move right now. for a new truck would be a Toyota. Don't buy any of the domestics unless you get a really nice low mileage pre-COVID truck. And I wouldn't buy a diesel either. Unless you're pulling trailers. Yeah, that's a good question about the military. Yama wants to know, he's thinking about joining the military reserves, but I also have a fiance and I want to start the family. Well, here's the facts. If you join the military, the chance of you having a divorce or that marriage not going through is going to be doubled or tripled. It's just the way that it is. It's not going to look good for that. If I was going to be, you know, if you're planning on getting married, to be in all honesty, I know you have a dream and all that, but it's irresponsible and ill-advised to get into the military with the record that they have of divorce and failure. It's one thing to get into the military if you're a single guy. It's a whole nother one to have a woman sitting by when you're not there. You know, in the good book, the Bible instructed, God gave instructions through Moses back in the day under his government. Here was the deal. When a young man took a wife, he was to do two things. He was to leave his household home, and her as well. You get out from the influences of family. You do not want to get to marry a woman and move into live with your parents, hers or yours. It's a recipe for disaster. The competitiveness and the competition between women, mother-in-laws, and your wife, it will destroy your life and destroy your marriage. Not advised. And God knew that. That's why he advised against it. The second thing is you take a year off. They were exempt from working. You take a year off and you enjoy the wife of your youth. You get to know her. You don't bring all of the pressures. There's a whole bunch of pressure that's going to come in to your relationship. You're getting to know each other. You're going to be living together for the first time. You have a certain way of doing things. She has a certain way of doing things. It causes friction. When you add to that financial stresses, when you add to that the fact now that you're separated and the stress that you might be in harm's way, it's going to destroy your marriage. And you can say, oh, I'll be the exception. Hope will be my plan. Well, I hope maybe that is the case, but you got to be logical. And you got to look at it you got to realize that is a terrible, terrible idea. Now, I would tell you, before President Trump took office, I would not advise anyone to go into the military. But I read today that recruitment is up tremendously because people are seeing that there's a new sheriff in town and there's a pro-military administration and things are going to be changing. And I would change my outlook on that as well. But I would never, ever advise you to get into that if you're taking on the responsibility of a marriage. I will come back and tell you I told you so in a year from now. The likelihood of getting cheated on is tremendous. The likelihood of you getting your heart broken and now you're going to be a divorced man and you're damaged. I don't care what you say. Your value, your sexual market value is not as high, especially for a woman and a man as well, if you're a divorcee. So why put yourself in that position? I do not advise it. I think it's a terrible idea. We have a brand new member, Mr. Sean. Welcome. Welcome. Did I miss a super chat? Let me back up here. Yes, we have a super chat from Mr. Brian. Shout out to you. Thank you. Brian says, men don't get married. The laws for the institution of marriage destroy men. I agree with this. Alimony, child support. Again, as I said before, if you weren't here to hear it, what I would do is I would have a prenup. If you don't have anything, you're just getting started, you're going to build together, then don't worry about it, you know. But if you have value, if you have assets, you have a home, what you have before the marriage, you should keep. Everything that you have built together after the marriage should be a 50-50 split, and it should be as simple as that. Why involve the state with it? Have a private ceremony, do what you do, and with the understanding, and put it in a contract. Go hire an attorney, have him draw it up. You can even have AI write a contract for you now. It's simple. Everything I had is mine. Everything you had is yours before the marriage. After the marriage, we split everything 50-50. We have a super chat from, shout out to you, Mr. Chris Hall. Chris says, Warband recommendations. Ironheart hoodie is sold out but available on the dealer site called Selvedge. I buy from Selvedge. I bought two prices and it came in 2 days. Yeah, Selvedge is a great company. I buy probably half of my stuff from Selvedge online. It comes out of the UK. It's to my house in 2 to 3 days. But we also have a Selvedge store in Portland that's 2 hours away, hour and a half away, I guess. And I go there too, as well, which is kind of nice because there's no sales tax. Oh goodness, I almost ended the stream. But yeah, that's good. Welcome, Sean. Recommendations. So, Ironheart hoodie. Yeah, get the hoodie. I have 3. I have a black one, I have a blue one, navy, and I have a black with the zip on the front. And they're the best hoodie I ever had. Goodness, honk the horn. We're gonna a double honk for Ice Fisherman, $100 super chat. My goodness, how generous of you. Thank you so much for your kindness. Ice is also a brand new member. Hello, new member. Enjoy your videos and how you promote Benchmade knives, Helco work axes, and God. Yeah, some of my favorites. You know, Benchmade took a real bad hit when they got involved with the local police department cutting up confiscated firearms. And you know, I'm a little bit conflicted on the whole thing. I guess I'll give you my honest opinion on Benchmade. Grew up loving Benchmade. It's an Oregon company. They started in my hometown where I grew up. It was a grail knife for me back when I was making wages, didn't have a lot of money. It was just something that I would just aspire to have. You know, it was not something that I could actually afford to have. So when I got one, it was very special to me, and I still have a fondness for Benchmade. I don't follow the knife community too much anymore, but it just seems to me, I go to Cabela's, or I go into a Bass Pro Shops, or some of the knife reviews that I see, you know, I see things, I see the popular knives, I see what YouTubers are doing, and it's just uninspired. It's like they haven't done anything cool for 20 years. I mean, they just haven't really innovated or done anything that I could even, like the last thing that I can really think that they've done of note was their OTF knives, out the front, I don't even remember what it was, the imbecile, whatever it was called. Outside of that, man, I don't know, have they just been resting on their laurels or what, but there's just been nothing that I've wanted. I mean, I go by a local running shop, and sometimes we go by REI, and they have Benchmade displays where they have their knives in there, and I look at them, and the price on them is doubled from what they used to be. Infidel, thank you. You'd be an imbecile to buy the Infidel. The prices are crazy high for a knife that's not a custom knife. And when I see what I can get from like Mr. Jason Barr at Ridge Runner Blades, the official knife supplier for the Warband, that's a custom-made knives, handmade in North Carolina, I'm not going to buy a Benchmade. Uninspired, kind of boring, not innovative, and then the whole thing with them cutting up firearms. Man, guys went crazy on that, and some guys took it too far. You know, some small-minded nitwits, some gun tubers, you know, just clutching pearls, and they went crazy over that. The fact of the matter was, they thought that they were helping out. You know, Benchmade, like so many other manufacturers, are blue-pilled simps. They're dick riders for law enforcement, thin blue line, all of that, because it's their bread and butter. So many of those guys buy their products, so they're not going to bite the hand. So they're all pro-military, pro-cops, whatever they may do. And so I could just about bet what happened. Local law enforcement comes in, it's like, hey, you know, we don't have a machine shop. And I know those guys up there. I know the cops. They're not good either. The local Oregon City cops, I grew up with them harassing me and harassing my friends, and I have nothing good to say about them. I don't know what the culture is now, but I have no reason to believe that it's improved. They go to Benchmade, can you help us with a problem? We've got the gun buybacks, we got people turning things in, because people will do this. A widow that's anti-gun, her husband will die, and she's got a whole safe of guns. She doesn't want these anymore. She's been indoctrinated by mainstream media. All guns are bad, and she's got these scary things in her house. And rather than, because she's a boomer, giving them to her grandkids, or helping them out in a way, she's just going to go and have them destroyed. Now I'm creating something that probably never happened, but that's the way it probably happens. They've got these guns, they're old shotguns, whatever. They're like, oh, we know those guys at Benchmade. They hook us up. We're local guys. They've got a machine shop. They go over there and they say, hey, can you deal with this problem for us? Can we use your bandsaw? Oh, yeah, come on over, because all cops are good. Thin blue line, right? Well, it got out, and it doesn't look good. And they didn't handle it very well. So I think it was a tempest in a teapot, but the stain is upon them, and the stink is upon them, and they'll never, ever outlive it because of the overreaction of all of the knife and gun tubers. And knife and gun tubers are always looking for a way to be outraged, because it's clickbait. It gets, they've been making content 4 or 5 years. They've went through all the knives in their collection. They're waking up every day. Goodness, how am I gonna, what am I gonna do? Oh wait, we have a controversy. Let's capitalize on that. We can get some views. So that's how the whole thing works, how it all perpetuates. So, where does that bring us today with Benchmade? It's just boring, uninspired, overpriced, and I don't know. What? It's just boring. It's just boring. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. I don't dislike them. I think they make great products, but I don't know. That's the way I feel. But back to finish your question to Ice Fisherman, Helco Work. Yes, Helco Work is a great German company that makes high quality axes and splitting mauls. And the Almighty, of course. We have nothing to say about the Almighty, but we're good. Thank you for that. But that's my take on Benchmade. Let us proceed. No, there's no nerve. I don't want to. I am a passionate person. I'm also an entertainer. It's like, it's in a world of milquetoast men. I enjoy opinions. I don't care if they're right or wrong. At least stand for something. So, is there a little bit of hyperbole here? Do I entertain you by getting exercised in these things? Of course I do, because it's fun. But it's how I feel too. I'm not being dishonest with you. I'm just passionate about these things, and that's how I feel. I'm very opinionated, if you haven't noticed already. So I'm not triggered. I don't care if Benchmade went away and never made another knife, or couldn't outlive what they did. What's that to us? Do I like their products? Do I love my 940s? Of course, they make an excellent knife. Am I gonna throw things away that I've purchased from them? No. But unless they do something cool, I can't see buying anything. There's another thing that's like lurking in the background. I'm a little bit salty that they have. Oh goodness, my soul just left me. My water bottle fell down and scared me. Oh, I need a moment to compose myself. I have sold thousands of Benchmade knives for all of the good press that I have given them for nearly 20 years. Thousands and thousands of knives. Have I asked for anything from them? No. Have I bought and paid for every Benchmade knife that I have? I do believe so. But have they ever reached out to me, or they ever said thank you, or invited me out, or done anything nice, or offered a giveaway to my subscribers? Crickets. Not one word. So, you know what? I'm not saying that I was expecting anything, but you would think that an Oregon guy and an Oregon company that has helped them so much, they would at least offer us out for a tour of the factory or something cool. But not a word. Cricket. So I don't know. Maybe Benchmade's just not a name I'm going to have in my mouth anymore. Kind of the way I feel about it. It actually makes me a little salty once I think about it. Now that you bring that up, or now that I bring it up. Goodness, we have a super chat from our brother Timothy. welcome, Mr. Timothy. Thank you for that. Timothy says, I'm a father of 9. Timothy's quiver is full. Happily married, single income in Astoria. Astoria is a beautiful place. Mrs. W and I love to go to Astoria. We haven't been for a while. We might have to put that on one of our spring weekend trips. Some great food in Astoria. You know, the most dangerous bar crossing in the whole world is in Astoria. It's really something. Got married when I was 23. Took the first year to travel with my wife. It was probably more important than I realized. Yeah, that's a biblical principle right there that Timothy's speaking of. That principle of, that the Almighty gave us of that first year of marriage. Don't bring any stresses into it. Financial stresses or being apart. Try to keep it as low key as possible to ease into that transition. And then after you get a year under your belt, you get some familiarity with your wife, then you can start bringing some pressures into the family. Goodness, we have another super chat from our brother Timothy. Shout out to you. You should be keeping your money for those 9 children. Timothy goes on to say that he's been watching for over a decade. Strange to consider someone you've never met to be a friend and a brother. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. And thank you so much for your generosity. Astoria, if you ever go to the Pacific Northwest, is a wonderful little town, and they have a great museum there. I love Astoria. I want to go back. I'm going to bump that up to the top of my list. They have a good brew pub that Mrs. W and I like to go to. We have a brand new member up. We're going to give a beep to all new members as well. A single beep to Reach. Welcome, Reach. Welcome. All right, let us proceed. I've been ranting. It's nice that it's so cold. The snow is dry and fluffy. Well, good to see the Battle Chemist in the house. Welcome, brother. Mr. Battle Chemist, that is. I'm going to make sure that Warband members are going to get the Mr. in front of their name. I'm going to put that respect upon them that they deserve. It'll take me a while to remember, but I'll get it down. Oh, I missed a message. Did I really? I missed a member message back to talk. Jacob T, let me back that up. Give me a second. I'll find it. Jacob T, you say? Oh boy, I don't see it. Can someone reprint it for me? I don't want to take up all of our time searching way back. I can't find it. Styler had a super chat. Oh, I don't want to miss that. Let me go back here. I think I saw Styler. There's Timothy's. Skylar. Sorry about that, Skylar. I missed your super chat. Shout out to Skylar. Skylar says, thanks for taking taking time, info and time just to include us in your day. Hoping we can put together a PNW motor ride this year. God bless the Warband. Yeah, I'm going to. I'm certainly going to do that. I'm going to be heading over to Montana for a moto ride. But I'm going to be putting my own together. So it's a little bit late in the summer for us because we live up in the mountains and it takes a long time for the snow to melt out. But what I want to do is I want to put together, and the Battle Chemist hopefully will attend this one, I want to put together a ride up to the great volcano, the Mount St. Helens volcano, which is my favorite ride. But yes, I will be putting together multiple rides, Lord willing, for the Warband. Okay, we got Hanky's hooking me up here. Thank you, Hanky. We have a reprint of Jacob T. Said the best advice for young men would be to build your relationship with God first and to get yourself set up before getting into relationships with a woman. Yeah, it's going to help you. The biggest difficulties I had was when I when you get off track and you go your own way and you stop partnering with the Almighty to make decisions. And I have horror stories I can share about that. Your life will go easier. He will help you make job decisions. He will help you make relationship decisions he can see the big picture that you can't see. And ultimately, that's where you start, right there. All right, let us proceed. Oh, we're in the dirt. Don't want dirt. DRZ 400, excellent choice. Excellent choice. When it comes to lightweight ADV bikes, that is always in the top 5. Great choice. You know what they say about the DRZ? It's got 6 speeds. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and fifth. Same as the KLR, I believe. But a great motorcycle and a really robust aftermarket. I'm not a Suzuki man myself, but I do respect it. Oh yeah, Honda fan. So I think my next bike, I think I figured it out. Mrs. Debbie and I go to my local dealer. I have a local dealer that sells KTM, Beta, and Honda. And so I like to go in the springtime to see the new bikes. And I think I've decided on my next bike. Overton's going to give me grief over this, but I think I'm going to get the 2024 or 2025 Honda CRF 300L. They had a 2024 there, and that is a very nice looking motorcycle. Yeah, no magic button. Yeah, that's a no bueno, no electric start. That is a non-starter for me. But I think that the new 300, the Honda CRF 300L, $5,200, $5,500 brand new, is that's the play right now, gentlemen. That is the bike. It is a very, very good looking bike. I love that bike. When I saw it, I had never seen one in person. I fell in love with it, and I said, that's for me. I really need to get a street legal 4-stroke. I mean, my 300 is street legal, and I've taken it to Canada twice, but it is not the bike for that. So I really need a dedicated 4-stroke. And it's half the price of a KTM 500 or 501. And I like it better, to be honest with you. Even given a choice, if I got one for free, I would probably still take the Honda. Road legal, yeah. I've got a 250L as well, and that's a good bike. That's kind of my buddy bike. But the 300's is massively improved over the 250L. Actually, Battle Chemist has a 250L as well. I have no interest in Harley Davidsons or big road bike cruisers and all that. That's not my interest at all. I want off-road bikes. That's what I'd like to ride. Will I ever see the Whiskey Throttle? The video's been up there since I put it up the day after it happened. It's always been there. I already showed it. You can go watch it right now if you want. Worst day of my life, or one of them. We've already got another 2 inches of snow on the road that we plowed this morning. What time is it, gentlemen? Is it, can someone give me the time, West Coast time? I don't have a watch on. I told Mrs. W I'd be in at 9 for breakfast. I think it's getting close. Oh, 9:30? I'm late. 9:30? Okay. I'm gonna make this pass and then turn around and we're gonna end the stream. I've got to get my breakfast. I got some work to do today. If it continues to snow, we might do another stream this evening in the dark. Yeah, I know I should have a watch on, but to be honest with you, when you're self-employed and you don't have to be anywhere, I don't wear watches to tell time anymore. I just wear them more like a bracelet. Or to troll, yes. That's exactly. I could not have said that better myself. Or to troll. How are we cutting costs this year? That's a good question. A lot of vibration. I think I got some ice chunks building up. Hold on a second. Ice chunks building up in the propeller. It's so cold. Yeah, I got some. See all those? I was in the dirt. I got all that grass. That throws everything kind of out of balance. You get a little vibration. We're not doing anything crazy other than basically just kind of doing a no spend. This is Debbie and I's policy is I'm not buying a piece of Ironheart clothing every other month, that sort of thing. We're not going to be eating out like we used to in the past. We're going to be eating out of our pantry more and just making do, buying less stuff on Amazon and just cutting out frivolous things. Got a bunch of traffic all over the place here. I got to plow out for the mailbox. The snowplow has not been able to destroy my bulletproof 1/8-inch steel plate mailbox, which I'm happy to report. We knocked it off, but we put it back on. I think Manservant did that when I must have been in Las Vegas. It was on my list to do, but it looks like it's fixed. As slippery as it is, I expect there's going to be people in the ditch today, so we'll probably be pulling them out. Manservant's essential. We have a big property and a lot of stuff to look after. It's more than I can do by myself. Well, it's more than I want to do it for myself. I don't work as hard as I used to. wouldn't say I don't work as hard. I have different priorities. Yeah, I'm able to do regular content because of Mr. Jiraiya. My advice on buying your first house is don't buy more than you can afford, and location. Don't buy anything in the city. Get out as far of the country as much as possible, so you can still make a living. I would buy the land. I wouldn't worry about the house as much as I would the location and the land. I would buy the land that was very good, with water and a good growing season. Good grief, we have a super chat coming in for the clutch. The Ice Fisherman, his second $100 super chat of the day, for the Japanese Denim Fund. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. Mr. Dry, I thought I was summoning him to come over with the horn. Thank you for that. Thank you for your generosity. I do appreciate that. Well, I will tuck that away, and when something really special comes up, I'll apply that to it. We'll have to hide that one from Mrs. W, for sure. But thank you so much. Thank you for your generosity. I sure do appreciate that. Goodness, that's kind of you. All right, let's back her into the shop here. Actually, let's go dump the snow off the top. I'm going to go in and have a nice breakfast. Mrs. W usually makes pancakes when it snows. Oh, how do you keep the denim from, that's a good question. How do you keep it from smelling and washing out? I'm not a stinky person, and I mean, it's not. It's like you are or you aren't. Some people just have a more powerful smell or aroma than others. I don't. I'm kind of neutral. I shower daily. I have good personal hygiene, and it's just not really an issue. I have basically two sets of Japanese denim. I have the things that I wear for good. That usually when I'm wearing those, I'm not sweating, I'm not working. And then I have another set that I wear my daily for work, like the 21 ounce, the truck, the Type 3 modified here, and the flannel, that sort of thing. Those I'll wash more often. I hand wash everything myself in cold water. So I run the tub. I use Norwex natural scent-free detergent from Sweden. Very little bit about, and I hand agitate, I hand wash. So but I don't wash very often. You know, it depends. If I really get dirty or really dusty, if I'm like in a trench doing a sewer line or something, then I'm gonna wash right after. I'm not gonna wear dirty clothes. But for the most part, by brushing with a clothing brush and hanging out in the fresh air, I'll hang things out on the clothesline outside. They in direct sunlight, they stay clean for a long time. So my nice clothes, I've had clothing. I've got like my 18 ounce vintage that I wear. I've had that a year and I've only washed it once. So just kind of depends. Also, if you eat clean food. If you eat clean food that's not highly processed, that's not GMO, you'll find, and drink water and not poison, you'll find that you'll clean your body up, and the sweat, everything about you is cleaner, and you'll smell less. So it's a combination of many things. So it just kind of depends. Hard work items, like when it gets hot, August, July, I wear denim shirts. Sometimes it's cut off denim shirts. Those, if you sweat in them a lot, you got to wash them a lot. So I'll throw them in the river I will hand wash them, but I'll put them in cold water and soak with detergent for an hour, mildly agitate them, let them sit for an hour, drain the water, run another tub full of cold, clear water without detergent, rinse them in there good, and then I hang to dry. That's how I do it. All right, I think we got most of it out. I don't like to have that snow in my shop because it melts all over the floor. The toothpaste that I use is Dr. Bronner's. It's all natural, fluoride free. It's not the only one, but it's a good one. Dr. Bronner's is also a good soap for washing your body too. Yeah, you see the pineal gland is the, some of the pagans would refer to it as the third eye, is in your brain. It's a gland in your brain that is, I believe with all my heart, is how we connect with the Holy Spirit and how we connect with God. It's a spiritual connection, like a radio antenna for the Almighty. And the fluoride affects the pineal gland in a negative way. Now, I'm not a scientist and I don't begin to understand all of these things. But I do believe, let this cool down a little bit, that when the snowblower works the cat pretty hard, the fluoride, whoops, goodness, I dropped my deal, affects that pineal gland, which, imagine, the fluoride is like a Catholic. It puts a barrier between you and the Almighty. Like the Catholics put a barrier, they tell you that you have to have a priest. You go to a priest, you confess to a priest, and that priest is an intermediary for you and God. That stand between. A middleman. See, we don't want that. And that fluoride, in my opinion, negatively affects or clogs up that pineal gland in a way. It attaches something to it, and it makes you, it diminishes your ability to communicate with God. Now, this is fringe for a lot of people, and if you're not a person of faith, then this might not make any sense to you, but I'm convinced that this is true. You have to remember, gentlemen, that the adversary is against us everywhere. The good book says he's like a roaring lion. He walks around on this earth, this flat earth, this realm, seeking who he may devour. So if he can harm you with affecting your health, so don't have the ability to communicate with God, or he can affect you, whatever it takes. It doesn't matter if it's alcohol, if it's marijuana, if it's pornography, or if it's fluoride. There's a multi-pronged attack against the saints. And these things, there may be people that are dumping fluoride that have just are science-based, or they think that they follow science, that are doing it because they believe that what the dentist says is that like the government cares about our healthy teeth anyway, right? That this is going to help our teeth. I don't think so. There are more sinister things behind the scenes when it comes with GMOs, even the material that are on our shoes that insulates us from being grounded to the flat earth. What's the best insulator? It's rubber. So all these things are attacking us. All these things are constantly weakening us to get us to separate us from the Almighty, from our ability to be saved. So we have to look at them. Now, we haven't understood these things. We grew up in an era where it was forced upon us, like fluoride in the schools. We didn't really know, but it seems now that there's a great awakening, that God is opening or lifting the veil, opening our eyes to see and understand these things and helping the saints out. So I may be a part of this, and a lot of these things that I say may be fringe to you. You may be hearing them for the first time, and I may be wrong. But again, to quote our beloved brother in Christ, Mr. Owen Benjamin, I may be wrong, but I'm not lying. I share them with you because I've experienced benefits from them, and I do believe God is leading us to be healthy and as happy as possible. So don't be stubborn. You know food dye and GMO crops and processed foods and alcohol and pornography and all of these poisons and these energy drinks, you know instinctively that this is not good for you. You know that it's good to eat pure, simple food, organic food that hasn't been sprayed with Roundup and pesticides. If you don't know this or you can't understand this, then you're just a lost person, and this is not for you. Go live your best life. Try to be as happy as possible, but you're not for the kingdom. You are stubborn and ignorant. Again, I may not be right, but I'm not lying to you. There is a truth to these things, and it's going to make a big difference. When we really are put under pressure, when we're really persecuted for our faith, and that time will come, we're going to need to be strong physically and strong spiritually. And that starts now with what we wear, with what we eat, with what we wash our clothing with, and what chemicals we bring into our home and what we expose ourselves to. So this is all part of it. This is all part of it. I don't understand it all. I don't claim to, but I know there's something to it. We have a super chat. Shout out to Josh C. Mr. Josh C, that is. Thank you for that. I got here late. Family is sick. What did I miss? You missed a great SNoWStrEAM. But again, it looks like there's more on the way, and Lord willing, if we pile up a little bit, we may do another one this evening. So I'm shutting it down. I'm going to go have my breakfast and get to work on all the mini tasks. But may God bless all of you. Please keep us in your prayers. And thank you for all the generosity, especially from our friend Ice. I'm going to pull him up here. My sausage fingers. Oh, it's not. There we go. Mr. Ice Fisherman. 2 $100 super chats. Beyond generous. Really beyond generous. Thank you so much for all of that. We'll see you all on the next stream.